Good afternoon, Representative Wood. Nice to be with you this afternoon. Paul Kidwell with the Connecticut Hospital Association. We've submitted testimony on a number of bills today, but we'll keep my comments to HB 5378 and SB 342. Connecticut hospitals share the committee's goal of improving affordability and access to health coverage for employers, employees, and families across our state. Hospitals experience firsthand the consequences when coverage is unaffordable or unstable. Patients delay care, preventive services are skipped, and uncompensated care increases. For these reasons, we appreciate HB 5378's focus on creating opportunities for small businesses to pool together to offer more affordable health insurance coverage for their employees. We are supportive of this concept, provided appropriate guardrails are maintained. At the same time, we oppose the inclusion of the Connecticut Option feasibility study in this legislation because of significant concerns regarding potential impacts on provider reimbursement, access to care, and the stability of Connecticut's healthcare delivery system. The study language directs the Office of Policy and Management to examine provider reimbursement methodologies, premium reduction targets, and related cost containment approaches. Although framed as exploratory, such studies frequently serve as precursors to rate setting or reimbursement caps tied to Medicare or other benchmarks, which can be detrimental to patients, harming affordability and access to care. Connecticut hospitals are already operating under significant financial strain, with the Office of Health Strategy recently issuing a report showing statewide operating margins at only 0.2%. Reimbursement from government payers remains well below the cost of care. Connecticut hospitals incur nearly $3 billion in Medicaid and Medicare losses annually. Imposing additional downward pressure on commercial reimbursement through a government-run health insurance plan would further jeopardize access to care. Commercial payments help offset chronic Medicare and Medicaid underpayment and fund critical services. A government-run health insurance plan would make the problem worse without addressing the drivers of the cost shift, Medicare and Medicaid underpayment. Conversely, HB 5378 establishes a state licensing and regulatory framework for self-funded MEWAs. Properly structured and carefully regulated MEWAs may offer small employers additional options to provide coverage to their workers. Expanding or preserving employer-sponsored coverage is a shared objective. When more individuals have coverage, hospitals see reductions in uncompensated care and improved continuity of care for patients. We appreciate that the bill requires licensure by the insurance commissioner, applies key insurance code requirements, prohibits discrimination based on health status, prohibits pre-existing condition exclusions, and establishes minimum actuarial value standards. If done correctly, a regulated MEWA structure could serve as a constructive tool to expand or stabilize employer-sponsored coverage without undermining market stability or patient protections. Related to SB 342, CHA opposes Section 1 of the bill, which requires
Your 3 minutes is up. Please summarize.
And I'll summarize very quickly. Section 1 of the bill requires site-neutral payment policies, which we have testified in opposition to this committee in the past, and happy to answer any questions related to those policies. But namely, hospitals are serving a different population of patients than community physicians and or other providers. And we feel that payment differential is related to those other responsibilities. Appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you have any other comments on any other bills, or did you get to them all?
Yeah, so on 342, certainly we also support Section 4 of the legislation and the concepts described in Sections 6 and 7. As you've heard already today by a number of other providers, we're concerned about downcoding and the use of algorithms and AI to undertake that work. And certainly are supportive of reducing the period of time by which insurers can downcode from 18 to 12 months.
Mm-hmm. And are you finding that in like a hospital system, the downcoding is happening at the same rate as the small, the smaller providers that we heard from today?
Yeah, I can't speak to the differences. Okay. I will say it's universal with our hospital systems that we're expending a significant amount of resources to fight with insurance companies related to proper reimbursement.
Okay. And, in a perfect world, just going back to 5378.
Yeah.
I'm sure the hospital association, hospitals are part of a network, part of a trade, association. We keep talking about small businesses, but like, wouldn't it be fantastic if, you were all part of, one MEWA? Just think of, even if take Hartford Healthcare, there may be 25,000 people across the state. If now you add, some sort of hospital association MEWA, that could be 100,000.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the healthcare industry is employing probably the most people in the state. All of a sudden, that puts your buying power into, providing insurance. You could pass that along to all your employees, even, other, other providers, other, parts of the healthcare system that you're not currently working with could be part of that trade association healthcare plan. So I do think we're sometimes focused on like the small employers because obviously we want to help them, but in a perfect world, I mean, employers of all sizes, because an employer with 5 employees to participate with a hospital system, I mean, you just bring so many employers into that pool, or so many employees into that pool.
Yeah, it's interesting. We sit on both sides of the healthcare equation, right? Because we are the largest employer in the state, and we collectively employ around 100,000 individuals in the state. And as employers also struggle to maintain coverage for our employees and are facing the same cost increases that just in a different scale than has been discussed today. So certainly, and we do have experience in the healthcare setting where hospital systems throughout the country join together to purchase supplies at a more efficient rate or purchase pharmaceuticals at a more efficient rate. So we certainly understand pooling as an opportunity to reduce cost and lower risk.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you very
your
much. Appreciate it.
testimony, Paul.